You're watching our special reports, Hope After Helene. All this week, we've been covering the 6-month mark when Helene devastated our region. We have crews visiting the various counties that have been affected, including Smyth and Washington County in Virginia. That's where Liam Bridgeman went. Liam, talk to us a little bit about how they were affected there and what's happening now.
Yeah, so specifically, the focus has been on Damascus with the full story, and that will be on Friday. But, the town of Damascus was just hit so hard by this storm. The water just rose so quickly, and there were a lot of survivor stories that came through this storm. But on the other side of it all, a lot of hope that came from this town. A lot of people stood up and helped others around him, and that was kind of the gist of me going there, talking with the town leaders and some of the residents there, that there is just a lot of hope around this town after this storm.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the personal stories you've heard. Talk about the couple whose house was completely picked up, thrown down the river, and then it broke apart and they were both separated.
Yeah, the McMurrays, and you covered that first story, and you'll see it again on News 5. Just to revisit that story is just such an amazing story, and I think so many people across our region and really across the world actually saw this story of this couple that survived this storm miraculously, and now they've got great news that they're actually getting a new home, which is it's been a great journey for them, and they're very excited for their new chapter.
It was incredible. They were in Taylor's Valley. Their house was picked up by the floodwaters, split apart. Carl McMurray fell out of the house, and his wife thought for sure. Linda said to herself, I've lost him. And he held onto a tree for hours before he was rescued by helicopter.
That's right.
And then Linda discovered the next day on the second floor, what was left of the second floor of her home, and she was carried out in a rocking chair by rescuers, thinking that she'd lost Carl. They both thought each other was lost. Carl ended up back with his family in Bristol, and the authorities brought Linda to their house, and
Right.
and they were reunited. Oh my gosh. she's
And after the
alive.
fact, they get with the governor, getting talked by the governor and being at that the State of the Commonwealth address. We were actually there in Richmond, got to
Yes,
see them honored there. So it was
And the
pretty-
rescuers were honored as well.
right. Yep, and they got to
And
meet
had
their
they were
rescuers.
reunited.
That's right. Yep.
What an incredible story.
It
All right,
was.
let's talk a little bit about Smyth County. They had some pretty devastating flooding there as well.
Right. Yeah. So I spoke with some officials in Smyth County. They've had a lot of work done to a few houses. I think they've completely redone 2 houses at this point. Still a lot of work to do. They've got more applications to rebuild, repair houses in Smyth County, but there's also a lot of debris that needs to be picked up, and they need resources at this point. And we'll have contact information for that on our website. We'll put that on our homepage and make sure that you know how to get in contact if you do have resources that you're able to help in Smyth County.
And let's talk a little bit about the Virginia Creeper Trail. It is an incredible resource for this entire region. It brings in tourism from all over the world. And Damascus, in particular, depends on this tourist attraction. Let's talk a little bit about the progress there. What's new? What's next?
Yeah, so I'm going to be reaching out to the U.S. Forest Service as soon as I can to try to get some indication of the work that's being done. They've been awarded $600 million, more than $600 million from the federal government. As far as I have been told, there aren't any new indications on what that money is going to be going toward, what it's going to look like. But I will be reaching out to the U.S. Forest Service to try to get some kind of indication. But of course, they're still doing work on Route 58 up there in Damascus.
Which is crucial. They've got to get equipment up there to repair the trestles that were destroyed.
Right, and there is significant damage to the 18 miles of the 34-mile Virginia Creeper Trail. So getting that road repaired is next, and they're well on their way to getting that finished, hopefully this summer.
Talk a little bit about the small businesses that have been affected. You've been able to talk to them. What are their spirits like? What have they been able to accomplish? And what do they still need?
Yeah, so biking is very key to the town of Damascus and their economy. And it's not just them either. I spoke with Ralph Wilson of the Damascus Diner, and he also mentioned to me that everybody's hurting from this Virginia Creeper Trail being inactive. It's so vital to this town.
And the entire region, really.
It really is. And biking in particular, these store owners, they're trying to get by at this point. It's survival mode, and they're doing what they can, but there is still, like I mentioned before with the entire town, there's a lot of hope. And right now they have to keep up this hope, is what Mayor Lamb is just continued to convey, that there is hope in this town, and we will get back to what we were.
And they've been quite innovative in trying to get back to where they were. Talk a little bit about that.
Right, yeah. So they've got 2 events coming up. One's a motorcycle. They're going down this trail. I'm going to be doing some camping as well, and we'll have more information on both of these events on our homepage. There's also Trout Days, which is they're going to be stocking the creek there right in town. I think registration's $100. You can go in, fish, and it's going to be a great time. I hope I can go out to it.
And they just want to make sure they're bringing tourists in where they've
Right.
lost that traffic. They want people to come back to Damascus. And remember that Damascus is open for business. They're not closed, even though a portion of the Creeper Trail is closed.
And the natural beauty that is still in Damascus. There's still the AT, there's still that motorcycle trail that actually it goes all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, which is pretty amazing. There's just so much to Damascus, and just because the Virginia Creeper Trail is not there, there is still some beauty, and of course the people there that are just holding on to hope.
Absolutely. So it looks like they want to tell people, come back to our communities. We're open for business. Support us. That's what's going to help us move forward.
Right. And that is what it's all about, is the town's just trying to move forward and continue to show people that, hey, we're here and this place is still beautiful.
And it absolutely is. All right. Thank you so much, Liam Bridgeman, who is covering Smyth and Washington counties in Virginia for us in our special series, Hope After Helene.
We have seen catastrophic biblical-like flooding.
Communities destroyed.
Little Germany is a complete loss at this point.
We'd never seen anything to the magnitude of what we got.
News 5 WCYB takes you inside the recovery 6 months after Hurricane Helene.
People still are helping, and please continue to help.
And how the spirit of the mountains is as strong as ever. Watch Hope After Helene all week at 5:30 and 6 on News 5 WCYB.